child, thank y'all for picking up my call. Y'all just won't let this girl live. Why can't y'all just believe Megan? Listen, at some point we do gotta just let this go. Okay, now, like, I know y'all sick. I'm sick of it. Well, allegedly, Tory's attorney said he has evidence that could prove Tory's innocence. But the thing is, babes, Megan ain't put you in jail. Why we keep putting Megan into this? Megan just testified about said gun that put said Tory said jail. I'm trying to sound legal because, you know, it's legal. So why are we still talking about Megan Thee Stallion for real? I'm trying to figure out what's happening here. And to be honest, at some point, when are we gonna let this girl move on? Oh girl, okay. Well, Megan lawyer said, well, let's make a full slideshow presentation about how Tory ain't so innocent in the first place. And this evidence you got is really not even really the tea, and how some things already been suggested and proven in trial beforehand. Well, let's have a conversation about it, and let's read this whole slideshow presentation and see what the tea really is. Because this is Woo Cha. Woo Cha. Woo child, let's hop right into this call. This is a 31-page document, I believe. I got it pulled up. Let me share my screen with y'all real quick. Beautiful. All right, let's get into the Gigiana. Right off, first of all, shout out to Megan's lawyers, okay? Let me just give a little context of what's going on right now, right? Long story short, if you have been living under a rock, or if you're not paying attention to this trial or this case anymore because all of us are exhausted by this case. Well, Tory's, I guess, legal team is saying that they have evidence from a ring camera of some sort that's showing that he's innocent and Megan is lying and that he didn't shoot Megan. I don't know. Listen, here's the thing, right? Oh, and may I mind you, the evidence never came out. And also, why is Tory's team telling it to the internet? I thought it was in the court, and I thought it got told outside of the court, but apparently Tory's team is just talking to the internet about how, like, they got tea that's about to come out, and nothing concrete never came out. And then security guards came out and said that, I guess, a security guard of Kelsey's protecting Kelsey and didn't want to get in the middle of it, but like, I guess that didn't really mean anything either, because here we are. So Megan's counsel and lawyer got together and said, well, let's make a whole presentation. Since y'all want to talk to the internet and talk to the public so much, well, let's go ahead and make a whole presentation and break down everything of why we know that we are not lying and we know the real tea and we sick of you coming for our client. And the thing is, I saw Megan come out and she made a statement on her Instagram basically talking about, you know, she's sick of this and she feels like this is bullying at this point. And I agree. You know, I feel like until something comes out and says Megan is bone-faced, like, lying, besides like the Gayle King thing. And I think since the Gayle King thing about, like, you know, she came out saying that she, you know, lied to Gayle King. I think ever since then, people's just been kind of wavering and kind of like not feeling the tea. Some can say, to be quite honest, I think that some of this has to do with the fact that, like, people, like, turning on her, like, even with her music, you know what I mean? Like, even with her releases, I think people are just like sick of it. I don't know how to explain it. It feels like this case and this whole debacle is really resonating within her music as well. People are turned off from her because, I guess, Tory's fans are like feeding this narrative that she's lying and that this and the third. But the thing is, she has nothing to do with him going to jail. That's the gag. She just was like, yeah, I was there. There's a firearm that was there. And so that's why Baby Boy is in jail, because he had a firearm that he had no business having. So, and then I guess we can also talk about the Glorilla situation real quick before we get into this case, right? I do have to say, Megan, right? I do want to say, I didn't like how quickly you were quick to, like, you know, shut out Glorilla or not. No, because Glorilla, I mean, yes, I think what Glorilla did was a very honest mistake. I think that when you post something or repost something on Instagram, the audio that's attached to said post can still be there. And I think you have the option to remove it, but I don't think she did. And maybe she didn't know how to, or maybe she just wasn't aware that Tory's song was on that. But something about how fickle, you know, these relationships in Hollywood are. You know, being here for almost 10 years in LA and Hollywood and being in this industry, I've seen people, you know, be disposable and treat people disposably. It was very telling to me how that was, Megan. I ain't like that. That's one thing I didn't like, because it could have been a phone call. It could have been a quick little, Glorilla, hey girl, hey Gloria, what's this about? Why you reposting that nigga? I thought you was my girl. What's going on, kid? You know what I mean? Opposed to it being straight to the internet and being like unfollowing, and then like your assistants and stylists and stuff is like making shady tweets towards Glorilla, and it's just like, okay, well, everybody can calm down. Everybody's cool now because they had a conversation, which I feel like should have happened beforehand. But that's neither here or there, I will say. And then I saw people was like, she's always falling out with somebody. It's always Megan's fault. And it's like, well, I think Megan is just, like I was saying in this call last week about her being defensive and being forever defensive. And it feels like I see exactly why at this point. It's like, girl, I wish you could stop being defensive, but enough is enough at some point, Megan. So I hope maybe this slideshow presentation can like bring some light to everything and kind of like simmer everything down and maybe give Megan a peace of mind, and maybe the GP or the general public is a GP, or just people that don't really keep up with Megan can, you know, maybe see her side. I hope this is what this is for. I really want to get into this. So let's get into it. So overwhelming. So the thing is, it starts off with overwhelming evidence of Mr. Peterson's guilt. The people versus Daystar Peterson. So that's that, right? And that's the real tea. It's the people versus Daystar Peterson. You see that? It's the people V. Not Megan Thee Stallion, not Hot Girl Productions, not Rock Nation. People V, which is California versus Daystar. Okay, I'm just saying. Because, you know, some of us don't have, you know, reading and comprehension skills. Here we go. Let's get into the gig. Daystar Peterson admitted to shooting Megan Pete. Okay. On July 12, 2020, just hours after violently shooting Megan Pete, aka Megan Thee Stallion, Daystar Peterson, aka Tory Lanez, called Kelsey Harris from jail and admitted to shooting Pete. The following text is from the recorded jail call. I know she, Megan, probably never is gonna talk to me ever again, Lanez said. But I just want you to know, bruh, I was just so fucking drunk. I ain't even know what the fuck was going on, bruh. Like, dead ass. I never do some shit like that. I was just so fucking drunk, I just didn't understand what the fuck was going on, bruh. Regardless, that's not going to make anything right, and that's not going to make my actions right. So he was admitting to something. So say what you want to say, something happened. Now that, some people saying that this is because he was messing around with Kelsey and Megan, that's none of my business. Listen. I just feel like here it is right here. You did something, and you ain't just saying that just because you was hunching on both of them. I'll say this too. Why is it though? Like, why are we so quick to be like, all right, well, Megan's lying. And she was the one that was there and she went through it. I feel like if the court system would have known if Megan was wrong or lying or something wasn't concrete enough, you know what I mean? Like, and they'll make it have like a restraining order against Tory or something like that as well, like a gag order or something. Like, these things don't just get like pushed through the court if concrete evidence was not there to support that as well. Just saying. Later that evening on July 12, 2020, Peterson, this is 2020? This has been 5 years, we're still talking about this? My God. Later that evening, Peterson texts Pete apologizing for shooting her. I didn't know this. 7 minutes, phone died, 3 minutes out. Meg, I know you probably never gonna talk to me again, but I genuinely want you to know I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart, and I was just too drunk. Nonetheless, shit should have never happened, and I can't change what I did. I just feel horrible. That's crazy. You know, I don't remember seeing this, and if it did come out later in the past, I don't remember, but he's apologizing for something, and that could be a multiple of things. That's the gag. It could be about the shooting, and it could also be about, you know, messing around with Kelsey, messing around with Megan, and I don't know. You know, there's multiple layers to this, and I feel like that truth is going to come out as well. Harris repeatedly confirmed Peterson shot Pete. Minutes after the shooting, Harris texted Pete's security guard, "Help, Tory shot Meg and handled me. 911. Miss Kelsey, you texted that." So this is the interview with the prosecutors from Miss Harris' testimony, which she said Harris admitted to the prosecutors that she witnessed Peterson shooting the gun definitely in Mrs. Pete's direction. Harris confirmed that Peterson offered her and Pete $1 million to stay silent. You don't offer nobody no coin if you ain't guilty. No shade. And that ain't just because you humping on both girls. Girl, please. You don't offer nobody $1 million if you guilty. Something is happening up in here. Period. Guess Harris didn't take the $1 million, did she? Because she was quiet for a minute, no shade. Peterson attempted to bribe Pete and Harris immediately after the shooting. Exactly that. Peterson begged Pete and Harris to keep quiet, offered each bribe of $1 million. So Q, so what is Tory saying to you? Answer, I don't remember anything he was saying to me in the moment. But when we got into the car and we heard the police sirens, Now he's saying, please don't say anything. I'll give y'all $1 million. I can't go to jail. I already got caught with the gun before. Don't tell on me. Oh. So this is maybe also looping back to remember when Megan was saying, I was trying to protect him. I was trying to protect him. And she used the Black Lives Matters thing as like as a thing. But the gag is, I think on top of that, Megan was also like in the car, he was saying like, hey, y'all, please have my back with this. So she was trying to probably keep the peace with that as well, which is crazy. And if that's the case, Megan, wow, you are a nice person. If that is the case, Megan, you are a nice person, girl. Because if somebody shot me right in that moment, girl, fuck you. Talk about some protect you. You shouldn't have had this goddamn gun in the first place. Shout out to Megan for that. No shade. She ate that. And then for Harris, she said, did he offer you $1 million so that you wouldn't say anything about the case? And then she said he mentioned the $1 million. So that was that. Megan Pete speaks out. Pete told the police that she stepped on glass because she wanted to de-escalate the situation and prevent the police from using force against Peterson. Yes, that was the tea. I remember that. And then Peterson's lies compelled Pete to speak out. Pete realized she could no longer remain silent when Peterson began to spread lies about the shooting. She publicly announced that her injuries were from gunshots fired by Peterson. During trial, Pete testified under oath that Peterson shot her. Under oath. She said, that man shot me. Under oath, girl. Like, girl, you lying on the bench. That's crazy. Did you see Tory firing the shots? Did you see him holding the gun, I'm guessing? I saw him holding the gun. And when did you hear the gunshot? When did you hear the shots? Immediately after he said, dance, bitch. And did you actually see him fire the shots as well? He had the gun in his hand. He told me to dance, bitch, and then I heard the shots. T. Peterson continues promoting disproven lies. The first lie that Peterson told initially claimed that Pete was never shot, but stepped on broken glass. The second lie that Tory told was, at trial, Peterson's lawyer argued that Harris, not Peterson, was the shooter. So he tried to blame Miss Kelsey. The third lie was Peterson claimed that the LAPD lost or misplaced the firearm in the bullet fragments. That's crazy. Why would the LAPD lose or misplace a firearm and bullet fragments? I don't know. That's never going to happen. Dr. Lee of Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, the surgery department, testified the surgery was necessary to remove bullet fragments from Miss Pete's foot. So the doctor even came out and said, I removed. And here's the surgery. Goddamn, girl, they are pulling out the documents, girl. I've never seen this. Bitch, they talk about the general anesthesia and everything. Procedures performed. Right lower extreme irrigation of extensional debridement, wound size 1.5 centimeters. Left lower, here go the bullet fragments right here. Left lower extremity, removal of foreign bodies, which is bullet fragments. So T, girl, if it's in here, girl, there's no implants, no drains. Baby, this doctor would not come up here and lie on his name. This doctor was not come up here and lie on his license, bitch, because he could lose his whole license. I don't believe that. I'm sorry. The second lie, not Tory Lane's former lawyer. At trial, Peterson's counsel argued that Harris, not Peterson, was the shooter. And that's not the case at all. The only person who, in the record, intentionally shot the firearm was Kelsey Harris, where my client was in the back of the car and hadn't got out yet. What? Interesting. Oh, now he commented this 115 weeks ago. September 25th, 2020, Peterson admitted himself publicly that Harris did not shoot Pete. Girl, so who? Y'all, the girls be lying, girl. He said that's not true 115 weeks ago. Harris' DNA was not on the gun, and DNA evidence shows that the DNA on the gun came from a man, not a woman. And this is coming from the California Attorney General's opposition of Mr. Peterson's habeas corpus petition at 16. This is literally, indeed, as the major contributor of 90% of the DNA of the firearm is known from a man, not from a female, such as Harris. Bitch, they giving you full, and they giving you the screenshots and the actual seal from the government, bitch. Like, this is the tea, girl. I got shit ran through, okay? Both prosecution and defense DNA experts reached the same conclusion. Peterson could neither be included nor excluded as a contributor to the DNA found on the weapon. So they also saying, like, I guess he neither be included nor excluded. That's interesting. So they don't know if it's a male DNA, but it could be somebody else. It could be his. We don't know. Regardless of the fact, Megan did get shot. That's the T. And that's just point blank, period. Let's start there. Or let's end it there for real. Gun found under Peterson's seat. The semi-automatic firearm recovered directly under Peterson's seat. Weapons were still warm to the touch in slide lock position. All rounds fired. Oh, wow. Spent cartridge case from scene matched to the handgun. Gunshot residue detected on Peterson's hands. Girl, like, what the if the gunshot, if the residue was on his head. Come on now, y'all. Come on now, y'all. I know y'all love Tory Lanez so much, but like, write him a letter or something. The third lie. The claim was Peterson claimed that LAPD lost or misplaced the firearm and bullet fragments. The truth was the firearm, magazine, bullet casings, and bullet fragments remained in the LAPD's custody. They got it right here. Here's the declaration right here. Girl, please. Signed by Martin Presquito, the senior property officer of LAPD Evidence and Property Management Division. T. The rumors versus sworn testimony. Now, this is what I want to see. Unsworn rumors being spread as fact. Bradley James, allegedly a former bodyguard of Harris, claims overhearing Harris admit to shooting the firearm. But James was not an eyewitness to the shooting. He was not present at the scene of the crime. James was never provided sworn testimony or been subject to cross-examination. James has not publicly addressed these claims himself. Peterson's team merely alleges what James said. Despite being cited as a key source, James failed to appear to the press conference to support these allegations. And that's the T. Bradley James, baby, you lying, babe. Because what's this sworn testimony supports Pete. Nori King, former content moderator for blogger Milagro Cooper, testified under oath that Peterson admitted to Cooper that Pete was shot when a gun went off during a struggle. Peterson publicly claimed Pete merely stepped on glass and directly contradicted his own private admission, a fabrication that was subsequently amplified by his social media surrogates, including Cooper. Peterson chose not to call a key witness at trial. Peterson declined to call Jaquan Smith, his bodyguard and driver, as a witness, although Smith was available and present at court. Smith spoke to the judge in chambers. Smith's declaration came only after trial, and Smith has never subject to cross-examination. T, why is that though? Independent witness testified he saw the short guy shot the girl, who then fell onto the middle of the road and was bleeding. Confirmed shooter and his arm outreach fired 4 or 5 shots and had something in his hand with the noise and the flashes. There you go. That's Sean Kelly's test. And then the ring footage. That's what I wanted to know about. What's the ring footage talking about? Oh. Peterson's team has recently claimed that they have obtained ring footage that supposedly exonerates Peterson's not so. Ring audio is not new. It was admitted into the evidence at trial as trial exhibit number 12 and was considered by the jury. So they already had this, so it's nothing even new. Peterson had the opportunity to testify at trial and tell his side of the story. He did not. Which is another thing I want to know. Why didn't he say anything? The unsworn rumors versus the sworn testimony was inconsistent evidence. The jury unanimously found Peterson guilty based on the facts, not unsustained claims. No shade. And here's your sworn testimony and your unsworn testimony, you guys. There you go. Is that it? That's it. If that's the case, right, I think that at some point we have to leave Megan alone. I think at some point it is good to let Megan, like, let her be. This is clearly, like I said, this is clearly the people versus Tory Lanez, not Megan Thee Stallion versus Tory Lanez. But at this point, I will tell you, if Megan wanted to sue or do something, I wouldn't blame her at this point, because girl, I would be sick of this. Like, I want your fans, but I think she's already done that. I think she's already done like some type of restraining gag order or something like that. Like, I don't know what else she can do, but I know she is tired of this, and I know she is ready to hang this up. And Megan, I know you're on the defense mode, and you know you're ready to like cut people off with like even like Glorilla and stuff like that. But I think just make sure you got people around you that love you and keep you safe and, you know, trust you and you trust them. And I think you should be concrete in those relationships. And I think that I didn't like how the Glorilla thing happened, and I like how y'all like unfollowed each other quickly instead of having a conversation first. But I think that hopefully, Megan, you can move forward from all of this. And I think hopefully this slideshow presentation could give the public, me and blogs and anybody else that's out here just talking about it and talking reckless to Megan or about Megan, that she has the concrete evidence. But Tory does not. I have not seen Tory present anything. Where's Tory's slideshow about like his tea? Like, where's his side of the story where he's like, well, I said that everything he said and tried to debunk Megan, she has something back like, well, bitch, no, actually, da-da-da-da-da. My doctor said this, the police said that. Like, and he even said, according to Megan and Kelsey, I already had a gun. I already got caught with a gun before. I can't go to jail. So this was already your thing. You was already And then the icing on the cake, the cherry on top, is you shooting Meg. That's the tea. And you did what you did. And I don't care what nobody say. Unless, like I said, I'm standing with Meg unless something come out damning that says something otherwise. Megan got the tea. She got the tea. She's pumping the tea. You may not want to hear that tea, but she's pumping the tea. So I got to take that, what it is. No shade. All right, Todd's Army, I love y'all picking up my call as always. I wanted to read this entire thing because I wanted to read this slideshow. It just came out today, and I was like, I want to see what this is all about because this is a fool. I empathize with you, Megan, because I really hope that you can move on from this and, you know, continue to make great music and have a great career, and this is just be the past, you know what I mean? And I hope he's okay as well. You know, nobody should be stabbed in jail to death or anything like that. So I hope he's okay as well. I hope his family is okay. And listen, I don't want anybody to be getting hurt, okay? Like I'm not praying for anybody to be getting hurt. I saw a lot of people congratulating and happy that he was almost killed in jail, which I was like, okay, well, let's OD everybody. Let's not, you know, be mean. I think justice should be served to Tory, but I don't think that he should be killed in jail. Like, I don't think that anybody should be stabbed to death, you know, so that's just that. Unless, well, unless you're like a PDF file or something. All right, Todd's Army, I love you guys picking up my call. As always, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this. And have you guys read this document? Have you guys saw this slideshow? And after you've seen it on this call, do you have any comments? Do you feel any different? If you always stood with Meg, please, like, I think she needs to support you guys in the comments below. Please keep it nice. Please keep Megan in your prayers, and hopefully we can move on from this. All right, Todd's Army, I love y'all picking up my call as always, and I will call y'all back real soon. Bye, Army.